So this isn't going to be your typical holiday gift guide video or how to budget for Christmas presents video. I want to give you a framework for buying the perfect gift, no matter who it is. I've watched tons of gift guide videos and read all the lists of the best gifts to get for men or women in search of that perfect gift for my friends and family. But I always ended up feeling like those lists just came up short. Or at least they were written for other people, not the people that I'm buying for. Then I ended up reading a book called Giftology by John Ruhlin, which totally changed my approach to gift giving. But before I share my specific framework for helping you buy that perfect gift, we first need to talk about sins. Yes, you heard me right, as in the 7 deadly sins. I picked this idea up from a marketing book I read a few years ago that pointed out that the biggest companies in the world oftentimes sell one of the 7 deadly sins, or one of 4 virtues. These 7 deadly sins, which oftentimes look like vices, are vanity, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and slothfulness. And the 4 virtues that people oftentimes want to achieve are health, wealth, wisdom, and good relationships. Now, obviously, they don't use this language in their marketing, but you can probably think of a ton of companies that ultimately help you achieve either a virtue or a vice that you want to achieve. I mean, that's what I'm doing on this channel. I'm trying to help you get that wealth virtue. But you're probably wondering what in the world this has to do with buying the perfect gift. And I'm going to explain more of that in just a second. I just want you to know, though, that I'm not encouraging you to buy gifts that are going to help your friends and family sin. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this framework of virtues and vices can be helpful when thinking about a specific person and whether or not a specific gift is going to be something that they really enjoy. Perhaps somebody in your life has been really trying hard to achieve one of those 4 virtues. Can you get them something that would go along with that pursuit that would show that you support them, for example? Now, you do have to be careful here. Don't insult someone by getting them a book on how to lose weight. However, if you know that maybe someone is trying to be healthier and they're trying to work out more, could you get them a gift that helps them with their workouts or that goes along with their workouts, something that they want, that would encourage that behavior because you know they're already working on it and that they would appreciate that. In the same way, if you know that someone has a legitimate problem with one of these vices and struggles with them, you don't want to get them a gift that enables that behavior. Use common sense here. These virtues and vices are just a starting point. The bottom line here is to think like a salesman. With that being said, let's jump into the specific framework for how you can actually buy the perfect gift. Step 1 is to make a list of any new or recent hobbies that they've picked up. If your parents are in their 50s and they live in America, there's a real good shot that over the last couple of years, they've started playing a lot of pickleball. Or if your girlfriend or wife is in her 20s or 30s, there's a good chance that all of a sudden she's super into plants. Is that just my family? Well, your mileage may vary, but the point here is to pay specific attention to any new hobbies or new things that they've gotten into and how you could buy something that would support them in that hobby. Step number 2 is to make a list of things they like, but probably wouldn't buy for themselves. Normally, this means that these things won't necessarily be expensive, but they might be expensive relative to the category that they're in. Let me give you an example. My dad is on his feet all day long as a contractor and, like I mentioned, has also recently gotten into playing pickleball. I know that he would really like a nice $15 pair of compression socks from a company like Features. However, I also know that he's probably not going to buy them for himself because he'll have a hard time paying $15 for a single pair of socks. Now, objectively, $15 isn't a ton of money, and it fits quite nicely into the budget that I've created for buying Christmas presents. However, it is a lot of money for a pair of socks. So I know that my dad would really appreciate this gift because it's a splurge that he'll like, but probably won't make for himself. Now that brings us to step number 3, which is what items on these 2 lists that we've created fit nicely into one of the virtues or vices that we discussed earlier. Your goal should be to find the perfect intersection of new hobbies or things they really enjoy, combined with something they're probably not going to buy for themselves, that also overlaps with a vice or virtue that you know they really want. If you can find that intersection, you know that you're really onto a great gift. And once you've got this gift, or maybe a couple different gift ideas at this point, you move on to step number 4, which takes this whole thing to an entirely different level. You want to ask yourself, how can I use everything I've done in the first 3 steps to create an entire experience that they will enjoy? Let me give you an example for my wife, Hannah. For step number 1, I know that Hannah has really gotten into this author named Amor Towles. He wrote Gentleman in Moscow and Rules of Civility, and he just had a brand new book come out this year. Now, for step number 2, I also know that Amor oftentimes does these online events with other authors where they'll talk about his books and their books and just kind of generally chat about books. Hanna rarely is going to purchase these online virtual events for herself, but I know that she would really enjoy them. Now, for step number 3, these books definitely fit into the virtues and the vices. Specifically, Amor's books oftentimes have sort of a historical fiction spin to them, and that's one of the reasons that Hanna really likes it. And that brings me then to step number 4. Knowing all these things and making a list and brainstorming it out, how can I create an experience or an event out of this? Well, maybe I could go to TJ Maxx and get a sort of wicker basket. They always have decently easy to find baskets of a sort that are pretty inexpensive. And then I could get maybe Amor's new book, put that in there, get a nice little candle to go with that, get her virtual tickets to one of his online events and print them off and put that in the basket, and basically gift Hanna a night of reading, a really fun book reading bundle, if you will, for her to cozy up with her book, watch this online event, have a nice candle, maybe I put some chocolates in there, and now I've created a whole event around this specific hobby that she's into with something that she's not going to buy for herself that helps her achieve one of the virtues or vices that she really likes. Now, of course, you don't have to go into this much detail and create a whole experience package for every single person on your list. That's pretty impractical. You don't need to do that. But these steps can help you add a lot of personalization to your gifts, no matter who they are. Because if you're anything like me and you're gonna spend the money on buying a gift for somebody, you wanna make sure that they actually like the gift. And adding personalization helps you do that. John Ruhlin, the author of Giftology, that book that I mentioned earlier, says personalization is what turns an ordinary gift into an extraordinary one. Now, if you liked this video and found it helpful, I would love for you to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and leave me a comment down below and tell me how you're gonna add some more personalization to your gifts this year. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.